guys, my name is Lori and welcome to the Icing Artist. So this week I thought that we would do a frozen cake. Now I don't think I have to explain what a frozen cake is because if you guys have kids you'll know what a Frozen and an Elsa and all of that is because kids are loving Frozen right now. So I thought that I would do a Elsa dress cake for you guys. I've gotten so many requests for her, so here she is.
All right, so here's my Elsa Barbie. I'm going to take off her cape and any extra kind of pieces of jewelry or fabric. And I'm just going to wrap her in plastic wrap so when you stick her into the cake, she doesn't get covered in cake. And I've already baked my cake. I've used the dress pan and baked that cake. And I've carved the front of it off a little bit and left the back part more like a bump or a train. So that way the back of her dress is more of a train. I'm just going to carve out the center of my cake so that way I can stick Elsa into there. And now I'm going to crumb coat the whole cake. I'm just using buttercream icing and I'm just going to give it a nice thin crumb coat. I noticed after I'd baked my cake that Elsa is a little bit more tall than the other Barbies, which is something odd. I didn't expect that. So I had to use a piece of fondant to kind of build up the cake so that way she wasn't towering over her dress. So I just rolled out a chunk of fondant, cut out the center for her to kind of stick into. And this makes sense now that you can see it going onto the cake, but that's kind of how I did to help build it up, just improvised with the cake and her to make it work. If you don't want to do this, I'd recommend using a larger pan or doing a stack of like 8-inch pans and then carving it down that way. Now I've already rolled out my fondant and I'm just going to loosely wrap it around my cake. So instead of actually covering my cake tightly in fondant and making it really nice and smooth, you want the dress to slightly ruffle a bit because it is a dress and it's supposed to be fabric. And at the bottom, I'm going to leave it a little bit longer in the front, but I'm going to leave it really long in the back so that way it's like a nice train behind her. I'm just going to tuck it up and kind of stick it on the cake board like this. So it's almost like wrapped around her. And again, I'm just going to cut out the center. Smooth it out a little bit. And then you're ready to stick Elsa into the cake. And I'm just going to push the fondant into her a little bit just so it's closer fit. Now, to connect the cake and Elsa together, I'm going to put like almost a little skirt going from her top, I guess, to the dress. So I've just cut out a strip of fondant and I'm going to cut out a little triangle from that. And I'm using gel paste instead of water so that way it sticks to the plastic as well as the cake. And I'm just going to wrap that around her. And then just trim off the excess. And just smooth it out a little bit. And I'm going to stick her cake back on. When I picked my Barbie, I made sure I had one with a cape because it really adds something to the dress. Elsa's dress is actually really simple, which is awesome instead of having a really complicated dress that you have to do. So it makes it quite quick and easy. And I decided to decorate my cake board, not just my cake. So I'm just using some buttercream icing and I'm almost just going to ice my cake board. And then with my spatula, just pull up onto the icing like this. So you're just pushing down and pulling up really quickly. And it's going to create this kind of snow effect around the dress. Just pulls the whole cake board and cake and everything in together. And you can also just use some sugar and sprinkle that around. I'm using a thicker kind of sugar, like a sprinkle. And I'm going to dust that on top of my icing just to give it a little extra sparkle. And then some shimmer dust. I'm just going to lightly dust the dress and the cake itself and everything just to make everything really sparkle. Because if you've seen Frozen, everything is very sparkly. So I wanted the dress and the cake and everything to be really sparkly as well. Now here's the 3D Olaf that I made. I did make a separate video for Olaf because he took a little bit more time. So I will leave a link after this video if you'd like to learn how to make him as well. I think he looks awesome underneath her, and the whole dress together is really pretty. And as you hold her hands, she plays this beautiful music.
Well, there's your Elsa princess cake. I hope that you guys really liked her. And the really nice thing about princess cakes and the Barbie cakes is that your daughter will get to keep the Barbie afterwards. And she's really kind of cute considering that she like sings and makes all this music as well. That's pretty cool. And if you'd like to see how I made the 3D Olaf, I will leave a link right now.